S at the end. You put an S at the end to change it.
Oh.
You ain't no people to come in.
This is original music by Yaba G. So I don't think. Now I make you grab me a water. I thought I had me some water.
Look at it. Water.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's original music by Yaba G. She owned the rights to that song, to that, okay, YouTube? So don't be flagging me talking about we biting off of somebody else's stuff. This is hers. She has a little music box thingy doing her thing. So this isn't Taylor Swift or Rakim or Big Daddy Kane. This is her. All right. So don't think that we biting off of other people's stuff and everything. So we want to get some folk on up in here. I see we got 12 people watching. We're going to talk a little bit about the changes to the channel, address some concerns that people may have, some misunderstandings that people may have, some whatever that people may have, and everything. And so y'all can understand where I'm coming from and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Hopefully by now y'all have learned that I don't just do what I'm doing just to be doing it. Check one. All right, just making sure my microphone was working. I don't just do what I'm doing just haphazardly. You know, I really think about what I'm doing methodically so I can make sure that I'm doing what's right, you know, and all of that. So I want to make sure I'm providing the best value. Those of y'all who support this channel and myself, so that y'all can grow this notary business, because that's really what it's about for all of y'all. Because when y'all first joined, became a notary or got into this business, is because you needed to get some revenue. You needed revenue. You needed something to change in your life because other things had changed in your life that probably was out of control and everything. So well, thank you for saying you love the changes. Some people may not understand the changes. Some people may think that I'm being contradictory in what I'm doing. But one of the things that I've learned as a business owner is that you have to sometimes meet the need of the people, and you have to adjust what you're doing so that you can accommodate the people who truly support you. And listening to a lot of you, and a lot of people don't realize how many phone calls that I take during the week, to talk to notaries, to hear their concerns, to hear their successes and how well they're doing, um, and to hear what they're really saying that they feel they're lacking in. And after listening to people talking, I got a lot of phone calls after I did that video about Griffin Notary Mentor Program I did. And yeah, that was sort of a clickbait to get y'all to look at that video. And I was, talking about mentor program. And I still stand by the fact that I'm not trying to quote unquote mentor people when it comes to notary. Hey, what's going on, Sandy? My whole goal here is to help you understand how to be a solid business owner. And the reason why is because after 10 months, now note what I'm saying here. After 10 months of well over 1,000 phone calls, and yes, it might have been the same person, hundreds of emails, text messages, all of that, and listening to people and hearing people tell me what has been done to them, the amount of money they have lost, the setbacks that they've experienced because they thought they was going to be educated to a certain level in this business and they weren't. I think most of y'all understand the caring heart that I have for this business, for this industry, as well as for those of you who come to this channel and that's in this business and industry, that I don't like seeing people hurt. I don't like seeing people taken advantage of, because me and my wife have experienced that multiple times throughout our marriage, throughout our lives as single, when we were single, as well as together as married. And there was nobody there to help us. Nobody provided things. We just ended up being out hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and had to figure it out. And the sad part is that what in this industry, as well as what we've seen in our life, there are people. Okay, I put it this way: there's three people. There's a person who needs the help. There's a person who's getting taken advantage of. And then there's a person who sees that happening and they say nothing and they do nothing and they provide anything at all. And then there's that fourth person who comes along and says, hey, wait a minute, that ain't right. We need to do something about this. What's going on, Azane? Good afternoon. Yes, yes. So here's the deal. After that video about the notary program, a lot of people call and express some concerns that they've been having with this notary industry and the way things have been going and the way they came into the business, a lot of the stuff that they wasn't taught, a lot of the misdirection from multiple different people. And yes, the notary trainers, they do their thing. But the biggest issue is that there are these people who aren't notary trainers. And they're out here getting people to pay them money and not really providing them anything of substance of value. When a young lady yesterday told me that she reached out to somebody and the only response she got back was $75 for 15 minutes. That's the kind of stuff we can't have in this business. And I'm gonna be straight with you. The people who are doing this the most, in my opinion, from what I've experienced, is people who look like me doing it to people who look like me. Okay. And y'all know this. And we always talk about we need to do better and be better. And we want other groups of people to respect us. And we want people to give us everything for free. And then the people who take advantage of us and make us pay them money, we don't say anything to them, but then we want to hop on somebody. So y'all will probably see, if the people haven't deleted the comments, you'll see in my last video, people saying, yeah, I knew you was going to do this and that. And it was never really my intention. I mean, think about it. For 10 months, I've been doing this. If it was my intention to monetize, it was my intention to extrapolate money from people and make people pay me, I would have did that probably around January, probably around February, when I hit the 1,000, I was monetized. You know what I'm saying? I've been monetized for a long time, And I had to first look at what could I even offer, because there's so much of the same repetitive stuff that is out here. Okay. Everybody, there's so many notaries who no sooner than they get their notary commission, they barely done a few signings, and the first thing they're doing is, okay, now I'm gonna train you, now I'm gonna mentor you, now I'm gonna start up my own company that's going to educate you in how to be a notary. And I'm sitting here like, you have no real practical experience in this, and because of that, everybody is flocking to them, paying them money. But then what I've learned what I've seen, and me and my wife have seen over the last, I guess you could say, 2 months, is that there are a lot of people who are now coming to me trying to get a lot of information, even though y'all know I put a lot of videos out there. But I'm realizing, okay, y'all paying these people hundreds of dollars. Why aren't you going to them? And many of you know I've said that. I'm like, why aren't you? And thank you for the appreciation, the Hush 41. Why aren't you going to the person who you paid $500 to, $300 to, or what have you? And what I'm hearing back is, well, they won't respond. I can't get them. They won't text me. They won't email me. So I'm sitting here like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Do I do something, or do I let it ride? Because here's the thing, and many of you notice, there are a lot of people out here who knew this was going on a long time. All of this here foolishness and shenanigans and taking people's advantage of people, making people pay all this money and not giving them anything. And nobody said or did anything. Nobody stepped up and tried to offer any kind of content, whether paid or free, to alleviate people from getting taken advantage of. No one was doing it. It was, I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity to take advantage of somebody. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get my money, and I'm going to get my coins. And it's going to be another stream of income. And that's what you constantly see over and over and over again. So after 10 months of seeing that, okay, and I'm in this business for 4.5 years, I'm like, something got to change. And what I've learned is that there are some people who value what other people do to help them out. And people have come to me asking me to provide a way that they can get some additional help. But the problem is, they're light on money because they done invested so much. Done bought printers that was way too expensive. Done spent money on mentors and training and Facebook groups and all of this stuff. And they tapped out and they hardly have anything at all. But they're for real about this business. So I said, okay, well, how can I provide something for them, seeing that there are also a lot of people that's come to the channel that don't really want to get that deep into the business. They're just trying to get some coins. They're just trying to make some money real fast. And all they want is, like I put out there, those videos, they just want answers. Just tell me this, tell me that. So I'm like, okay, so then maybe I need to shift things. Maybe I just need to make things where, okay, here's an answer. Here's the basics. Here's some stuff you need to be aware of. Here's some stuff you need to be mindful of, and then have something for those who are for real. So when I thought about it and I looked at it, I said, okay, what way could I do this? So when I looked at the YouTube membership part, I said, okay, let me see what this is. And I've been looking at this for months. The moment you get monetized, you pretty much can do this. I think, it might be after you get monetized or to a certain point. And I said, well, let me look into this and see whether this could be beneficial. So YouTube provides training on how to do this, join this members only part. And one of the things, and the first thing that they said was, do not stop making content for non-members. So people who have not paid to be a member, don't stop making content for them. So as I was dialoguing with somebody in my other video, they were saying, well, it makes good business sense to cut everybody off and to make everybody do that. I'm like, no, it does not make good business sense. You don't alienate people who have supported you for such a long time. Now, for somebody who just hopped on 2 months after they became a notary, it makes good business sense for them because they haven't established a rapport. They haven't established a connection. I've established, I believe, a great rapport and connection with y'all, to the point that it would be just flat out disrespectful to say, okay, I'm just making everything paid. I'm just going to make everything this. No, that wouldn't be right, because there's so many people that I know can't garner up to $3.99. Okay. But I'm still going to provide content and information for you. My thing is, if you understand business and helping people, you should understand what I'm doing and why I'm making a change. If you look at the pattern between me and the other YouTube notaries, okay, because so many of you, well, I won't say so many, a few of you have come out and said, well, I knew you was just like them. And way back when, people are like, well, I knew you was like them. You're no different than them. When you can do a comparison, they came out of the box saying, pay me. They came out of the box saying, give me money and I'll tell you something. They came out of the box like, you need to pay me for my knowledge and my time and my information, because I'm worth that. I didn't do that. I said, here you go. Take it. You need help? Hit me up. But even with me asking you to call me, it wasn't from the standpoint of asking you to call me, which a lot of people are doing now, for a lot of trivial things that you could go and research and find out yourself. But I'm talking about if you have a sense, the whole pattern. And again, I said in a video a couple of back, the mistake that I made was that I wasn't clear about calling, because I assumed that people would understand that, okay, Griff is putting out videos. I will look at the video, do everything I can to comprehend what he's saying in the videos, replay it multiple times if I need to. And then if I'm still unclear about something, I will contact him concerning that. Or if I'm in a signing and I get stuck on something, I will contact him about that. What I'm getting now is people saying, yeah, I saw the video, but I want to hear you say it to me.
Yeah,
I want to hear you say it to
there's
me.
definitely been a shift. There's definitely been a shift since um there's been basically three different groups of people that my husband has been dealing with since November of 2020. Okay. And the first set of people, it was, legitimately they needed help. They had, questions and concerns that were, directly related to um, not knowing or understanding how to notarize the documents. There was a lot of confusion, things of that nature. The second set of people were like, why don't you offer training, offer training, offer training? And so if you remember back in, February, it might have been March, April timeframe into the beginning of May, he was offering the classes. He was doing them one-on-one, and then he opened them up a little bit more. And what we were finding is that people were taking the classes, and then they would come right back after they took the classes, and they would ask the same questions of the information that Griff had covered in the classes. And I knew he covered the information in the class because I could almost quote, you know, I can almost quote verbatim the things that he has said, whether he has been on the phone or whether he was teaching one of his classes that he was holding on Zoom. And people were calling and asking the same exact questions. And the big thing that we don't want to do, and I say we because we're one, we don't want to take time and waste it, because time is something that can never be replaced. You can't replace time. And when my husband got on YouTube, at first I was like, why do you want to get on YouTube? Because I have been on YouTube since 2017. I have 2 channels of my own. So I understand the YouTube landscape. And a lot of times when people are not content creators, you're just content consumers, you look at it from that direction only. But when you're a content creator, you look at it from both sides of the table. And I see it from both sides of the table. And I knew what was going to happen. I knew what was going to come down the pike. I, talked to my husband or one-on-one all the time about this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to take place. These are the type of comments that are going to come through. There are going to be people that are going to be serious about um, learning the notary business, learning how to become a good notary and want to be able to grow their notary business. And there's going to be people who are just going to come in and they're just going to want to watch a video, but they're not really serious about the business. And so it's really, really, a big responsibility to try to filter through all of that as a content creator. At any time, at no time was this ever done for money. I want to get that out there. This was never done for money. This was never done to hustle people out of their money. We don't have time for that. We just don't have time for that. We really don't. We don't want it happening to us, so we don't do it to other people. My husband was just going along, moseying along, doing his notary signings. You know what? Just doing his notary signings, doing what he had taught, what he was taught, what he had researched and what he had learned. And he was experiencing growth. When he got on YouTube was when he found out that there were all of these other issues and problems and situations, circumstances, and scenarios that were taking place within the notary industry. And like he just said a few minutes ago, he could, people fall into different categories, and he could have just been like, you know what? I'm going to just keep it moving. I'm going to just keep doing my own thing. I'm going to keep growing my own business. And, you know, everybody else can just do the best they can. But he didn't do that. Obviously, he didn't do that. And, when he made the decision, and he made the executive decision, okay? He made the executive decision to help people in the notary industry. This was never, ever about money. YouTube doesn't pay that much money. You've got to work really hard to get paid significant amounts of money on YouTube. So if you really understand the YouTube landscape from the monetization side, it doesn't work like that. And a lot of people are just going off of hearsay. They're going off of people that have large channels, but they've also been up there for years and years and years and years. And this was never his intent. This was never our intent. Like I said, I got 2 channels of my own. Neither one of them are monetized or anything like that. And I've had to deal with some things on my channels, and I just deal with them and I keep moving forward. And while we appreciate all of the feedback that we have gotten, prior to my husband bringing out, you know, and rolling out the new changes that he is making to the channel and adding a membership to his channel, we take all of that, we process all of it, and I say we because we talk about all of these things. We process all of that information, and guess what we're going to do? We're going to feed forward. We are going to feed forward. We also understand that in business, that at each level of business, there's going to be a cross section of people who are going to be there for you, with you, going to have your back, going to support you. Okay. But every time you take a step forward to move in another direction, go to the next level, we understand that there are going to be people that are not going to like it. They're going to disagree with it. We're no longer going to be your cup of tea. We understand it. And I always say to people, if we're not your cup of tea, don't pour us anymore. We understand. We really do. We really and truly do. We get it. People, we're not here to control people. My husband's not here to control anybody. That's why after much thought and research, he decided on doing things this way so that you would have the opportunity to say, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of it for a month, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. That's why you get the opportunity to make the choice. There is no contracts in this. There's no contracts in it. That's the thing. You make that choice. You say, hey, I want to join for a month. I've done it. I've done it with recreation centers. I've done it with the local recreation center. I make a commitment for a month. I pay them $14 a month. I'm able to come in there and access everything in that recreation center for a month. And then I make a decision of whether I want to do it again the next month. That's the same way this is. That is the exact same way this is. You can turn it on and turn it off anytime you want. Anytime you want. And that's the thing that I'm looking at. And like he was saying earlier too, about the types of questions, people calling him and saying, how much does does a box of paper cost at, Office Max versus Walmart? Well, those are types of questions that you can literally go online and look up and do price comparisons for yourself. That's the thing. Those are the types of questions that were coming in, or some of the other things where I was just calling to ask you this question because this is what I heard and I wanted to get confirmation from you. That, you know, minutes of time are being taken up. He still does notary signings. He's still out there in the field, just like those of you who are working in the notary field, who are going into people's homes, meeting at churches, meeting at restaurants, or wherever it is that you do a notary signing, people's backyards. It's amazing the different places that people sign, legal documents, but that's where we are in 2021. And so he's out there still working. Those of you who have followed this channel since he started uploading content in November of 2020, all of you know that, who follow on a regular basis, that he not only does notary work, but he also has a technology consulting business where he also, designs websites, maintains websites, and he hosts websites. He also does house inspections. So when people are calling with questions like, oh, could you just give me the, what the price is for Doc Verify and stuff like that, when you can look that up yourself, that's pretty unfair to call somebody who is very, very, engaged in doing business, to ask them questions that you could find the answer to yourself. And if you haven't learned anything else from this channel, you would know that my husband is trying to teach you how to fish, not have your hand out for somebody to put fish in your hand every day. And that's really what a lot of people have been approaching him with, that particular, mindset. Just give me. If any of you have seen the Proud Family and the Gross Sisters that always just came with their hand out, that's how people have been approaching him in recent months.
And then if I don't respond, and because now the reason why I say dot verify, because a lot of people have been contacting me about the e-notary. That's why I did the video last weekend with the gentleman talking about the Ron, because I do it, but I don't consider myself nowhere near expert. But then I was started after that. It was like I was getting multiple phone calls and emails and stuff like, hey, so what's the price of this and what's the price of that? What's the price to get on Notarized? What's the price to get on One Notary? What's the price to get on Dot Verify? And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that you can go to dotverify.com or onenotary.com, .us or notarized.com and look it up. What's how much I have to pay for DocuSign. And I'm like, okay. And I've shared with this. Now, this is one statement you've heard me say many times. The more you want from somebody, the more it's going to cost you. The more you want somebody to do something for you, the
Mhm.
more it's going to cost you. So
Mhm.
when you go to a fancy hotel, you go to a Motel 6, you you want plush towels? No, you're going to get the sandpaper towels at Motel 6. But if you go to the Ritz, you want stuff done right, you're going to pay for having it done what you considered right.
And he's so right. It's when he said that, I'm thinking about the first time that we went to the Econo Lodge in Philadelphia, and we were there. This is early in our marriage, and we were there, and we went to the Econo Lodge, and I kid you not, the towels were probably about this big. Trying to get in the camera.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
probably about this big. They
Yeah.
were so short. You couldn't wrap them around you really
Mm-hmm.
to be able to, cover your body and stuff like that after you were getting out the shower. And my husband, we just turned around and we looked at each other, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I never want to stay here again." Never want to stay here again. The beds were horrible, things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. And so the next time we went home to Philadelphia, we stayed in the Embassy Suites. And if any of you ever stayed in the Embassy Suites, it's a far cry from staying in the Econo Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And you have plenty of towels, and they're nice and long, and you have different size towels, and they're plush and all of that. Why? Because now we were paying $100 a night versus paying, whatever it was, 40 some dollars a night at the time at the Econo Lodge. So we're saying all of this. Yeah, yeah, you know what they use those towels for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. You really have to really understand that there's different levels to this. All of us watch YouTube to some level and some degree. And some of us watch channels that they have, Patreon memberships, and they have memberships on YouTube and things of that nature. So this is not new to people. This is not new to people at all. But at any time, none of this is to take advantage of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
None of this is to alienate people who still want to come to my husband's channel and receive of the free content. None of that is going to be turned
No.
private. None of that is going to be turned off or taken down and put on the
No, the
or on the
paid
membership,
side.
on the paid
Yeah, that's
side and
not going
things
to
of that
happen.
nature. None of that's going to happen. None of that's going to happen at all, because the one thing that he has learned is that people are in a particular state financially. And so that the free content that is up there have been people that have actually looked at it, have watched it, have taken notes, and have implemented it, and has grown in their ability to do notary work, and has started notary businesses, and have started being successful
Yeah,
just
there's
off
yeah,
of looking at the
the
free
free content.
content.
Look, y'all need to understand. Okay, I'm gonna share something with y'all. I'm gonna share something, something that I was going to be talking to the people on the business side, but I'm gonna share it here with y'all so y'all can understand that I know what the heck I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing here. Okay. And this is what I learned from listening to all the different mentor videos and this is before they even got on YouTube: Tony Robbins, Kiyosaki, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Miles Monroe, before he passed, Les Brown, and others. One of the things in John Maxwell, most definitely, in leadership, you have to build trust.
Mm-hmm.
When I came on YouTube and I saw what the deficiencies were and I saw what the issues were, yes, being a businessman, I saw, oh, okay, I see how people are making money. I had to learn why people are doing what they're doing on YouTube, because I'm like, okay, they make it, okay, I see. They see that people are unwilling. They see that people are lazy. People are unmotivated that's the iPad, to learn the information themselves. They want it handed to them. So these individuals are taking advantage. Now, there are people out there who don't care about your reputation, don't care about whether you care or your heart or whether they can trust you or not. If you say you can give them something to get them from point A to point B without them putting out any effort, they will give you every dime they have. They will give you the mortgage payment because they think that you got something that can help them beat the system and beat everybody else that's in this industry. So those individuals, that's what they're doing. Because for somebody to sit here after 3 or 4 months or 6 months being in this business and say, "Oh, I can help you. I can show you the real deal. I can break this thing down to you. Just pay me." They've learned or been told that there's a market of people out there that you can take advantage of, and that is the correct word. You can take advantage of because they are unwilling to do what it takes to get to where you are. You might have put in that person, that 3 or 6 month YouTuber may have put in the time and effort to learn something. They don't know a whole lot, but they learned enough and they realized, okay, you're too lazy to do what I did, then you're going to pay me for this. Oh, you came out and asked me to help you, you're going to pay me for this. Okay, male or female, black, white, doesn't matter. My mindset is different. If anybody's ever going to pay me for anything, you got to first, I got to have something for you to be willing to pay for. And two, you got to be willing to, you got to have some trust in me. So the way I've grown up in business and spiritually is to ensure that the people develop trust. You need to be able to trust me. I need to show you that I am trustworthy, that I have the right character, that I have the right intentions,
The right aim.
because here's the thing. I understood that. I said, okay, if something came up and somebody, as a good businessman, if somebody wanted to pay me, how do you get somebody to pay you? The biggest way is you got to give them a reason to. They got to build trust. So I said, well, let me first build trust with you. Let me find a way to build trust. And the only way I knew to build trust is to be as open and transparent as I could be about my experiences, about how I feel about the stuff. And yes, as some of people said in the comments of my last live, well, you've been, going in on these channels. The reason why I was going in on them because of what they've been doing to people. And you know this. I didn't just hop out there fussing about people and what they're doing in these channels just to be doing it.
And that's so that he's talking about what they're doing, but the hundreds, and this really is into the hundreds of people that have called him after dealing with the various teachers, trainers, mentors in the notary, community. They have either been referred to my husband either in a Facebook group, Clubhouse, via text message, or they've seen, ran across his video, or it came up in the recommendations, and they actually, called him and got him on the phone. So that's what's been going on. And in the midst of, my husband picking up the phone and answering all of these phone calls, he's been hearing all of the different things that has been happening to all of these different individuals, and how they have been taken advantage of, how much money they have put out, how they didn't learn anything, or how they are now totally confused. And some of them are really afraid, they're terrified, they're scared, they haven't been getting any notifications or anything like that. They've tried to call these different teachers, trainers, mentors, and they have tried to reach out to them to get additional information. And like he said earlier, they have been told at that time, because they already fulfilled their first obligation of what they said they were going to do for the first amounts of money that they were going to pay. Now, if you want additional money beyond what they said, now you're gonna have to pay them additional fees. And so these are the things that are happening. And like I said, my husband went through all of this, and we had people that were calling my husband and saying, all these kind of crazy things to him over the phone, through email, through text messages, putting a demand on his time. Putting a demand on his time, being disrespectful. I'm sitting right there a lot of times listening to the conversations. And like I said once before, I see the emails, I see the text messages, I hear the phone calls. And so my husband is the one, me and him are the ones that really know everything about what's going on behind the scenes, as far as his notary business and
Mhm.
not everybody else. So when people are in his comment sections making the comments that they're making, you're making them not knowing everything that he's dealing with or that we're dealing with as a married couple who are in business together. You're making it from a one-sided point of view because you don't know. You don't know everything that is going on. And you assume it's all about money for him or it's all about money for us. And it's not. He's already shared with you over and over and over again that he has multiple other
I
things
got 5 streams of income already.
that he's already
Already
doing.
before YouTube. Now, here's also, let me be real transparent with y'all on this. One of the other issues that none of you know that is really going on with this notary business and all of the shenanigans of people spending all this money and not getting help and not being educated right, going out there doing signings and getting blacklisted because they listen to somebody say this, that, and the other. What you don't realize is that the majority of the people out here, their spouse is not on board with them. And many, and especially many women have jumped into this business thinking they was going to make some money to help out their family, maybe even to relieve some financial pressure off of their husband, and they took a leap of faith and spent maybe a little bit of their mortgage or rent money, a little bit of that car note money, a little bit of savings, a little bit of that husband's season ticket money or whatever they may have, and it ain't working. And I thought you was gonna make this $5,000, $10,000, baby. Where is it? See, y'all don't hear the phone calls that I get when you have a young lady calling. How am I going to make it? How am I going to explain to my husband that I'm in Georgia and it's an attorney state, and I was told that I could do this, but then I find out that in Georgia it ain't like that. I find out in Maryland I got to go now spend money on a title producer license, and then the person can't pass the title producer license test because they personally have some learning issues. There's things that they may not have learned in school to where their ability to comprehend is not to the level that they needed to be in order to pass this test, or they comprehend it, but they're just not good test takers. See, y'all don't realize all of this. Those of you who trying to come at me all slick and slide, you don't realize the hurt and pain that people are in out here.
It's real.
This is real.
It's not play.
Yeah,
this is
ain't
not
no play.
This is not
for real
yeah.
stuff, y'all.
This is not for play. This is a responsibility that's going on behind the scenes, and me and my husband have dealt with this on the church side. We're dealing with people in ministry and things of that nature, and all of what's going on behind the scenes. You can't always share it specifically, what's going on and what's happening in the lives of other people. But that's just kind of like a brief overview of what's going on. And so people just see him and occasionally me on this channel, and they just lump my husband in with everyone else.
Yeah, and
They
they do that, and see, because I can tell because with some of the, I thought so. I figured we was going to do this comment. It's always this another stream of revenue. See, not every stream of revenue is really a good stream of revenue, and not everything should be. That's why I put out that if you go into the community tab, I put out a video from Jesper Singh of Minority Mindset about having all of these here streams of income. You can truly only have about 2, maybe 3. I think 3, but he said you can probably have 2 streams of income, especially if they're active streams of income where you're actively doing them. If you got streams of income where you got to do Grubhub, you got to do Uber, you got to do the notary, all of these things that you physically got to do, you can't really be actively doing all of them to the fullest potential that they have. You can probably only do 2, and then you do the other ones a little here and a little there.
And that's active in stream of income versus the passive streams of income. And
I've
that's
talked
the
to y'all
thing
about that. And see, sometimes people aren't listening. Everybody's looking at that's a stream of income. What's a stream of income? What's another? There it is, right there. There's a stream. This here's a stream right here. That's a stream, and it's not income. But everybody thinks that every little thing that floats out there is some kind of stream of income. And the thing is, And that's part of the reason why these people hopped out here doing this, but they're not providing any value. My thing, what I learned in business is that whatever you do, you need to provide value. If you can't provide value, then you're just taking people's money and you're wasting people's time. Now, yeah, you might be able to sit on your yacht, you might be able to brag about all of this stuff you bought, but have you really provided anybody streams of income? And the reason why I know that they're not providing income string of value is because people are coming to me asking me for help, getting the help, and I'm not trying to charge anybody nothing, and I don't ask for anybody anything. Okay, that is not the goal. So I understand your mindset is, oh, if you're trying to monetize or if you're doing this on YouTube, it's because you want another stream of income. No, it's because, to be honest with this, it's because people have told me that they value what I do and they want to give in to me to give them more of my time. And I'm like, okay, well, how can I do this?
How can you balance it and make it affordable for people can be able to do it, and people still have the freedom of choice to be able to say, I can afford it this month, and this month I can't. Because that's the thing. This is something that you can do where if you're like, hey, I can't afford it this month, you can go into your YouTube, and pop out.
And then come back.
And then come back in.
Now, let me share something with y'all.
I've done it. Some of the things that I have.
Where I learned, the reason why I picked this way of doing it is because of who I consider my mentor, Bill Soroka. When I was out there, and just so y'all can understand it, this is no jab at anybody, but this is where I was at. Back when I got into this in 2018, we was going through a bankruptcy. And I had a decision to make. Hey, what's going on? Random videos. Here's the decision that I had to make. At that time, when I first learned about loan closing, and I mentioned this before, there was only two people that I knew of, Bill and Mark. Okay. Notary coach, loan signing system. And I had to make a decision as to which one I was going to be able to pay for. Now, being in the bankruptcy, there were certain dollar amounts that I could spend without having to report that to the bankruptcy trustee. And I had to determine where I was going to put my money. Now, I knew based on my time schedule, yes, there was a monthly plan with the LSS, but I knew that I was not going to be able to get into doing the course or looking at it for at least a month or two. So I said I didn't want to pay a monthly fee into something, and then I turn out and realize I didn't like the industry or any of this at all, and now I can't get my money back, and now I'm on the hook for paying.
Hey, Sister Tammy, shalom.
Hey, what's up? And paying this fee for something that I'm not going to do. Bill offered, at that time, it was $25 a month. Said you can come in for $25, learn what you need to learn, and you can bounce out. So knowing the limitations of where my finances were, which some of you have the same limitation, that's why I said I understand it. I said, okay, Mark's course was maybe $500 or somewhere like that, or maybe $400. I said, I can't swing that. I said, because I would have to tell that to the wife and like, okay, babe, we're going through this bankruptcy. I'm about to plop out $400. And I don't think I could have really justified that, no matter how much I could have thought that this business could have been profitable.
And we actually sat down and talked about it. And I asked him, I said, how much is this a month? And it was what, $25 a month
for Mark for
that's
Bill
what
Soroka.
It was.
Now, granted, Mark's was about $68 at that time, and 68 was fine. The problem was
25 sounded better.
Right, 25 sounded better. Plus, I knew Mark had the 30-day money back guarantee, and I knew that by the time that I was going to be able to really look into the course, it was going to be beyond the 30 days. And from a financial standpoint, I said I didn't want to be on the hook for the other $300-400 after that. If I determined, no, I didn't really want to do the loan closings. So I said, well, if for $25, I could go and do Bill stuff, look in there, learn, see if this is something that I really can do. Because when I listened to both of them intensely, I was like, they're both pretty much, in my opinion, was saying the same thing. He's offering for this price. He's offering it for that price. What price can I afford legitimately, given the fact of my financial situation? I said I can afford the 25, and I can justify the 25 because I was doing Grubhub and Postmates and all of that. So I said I'll take the money from that and invest in here. I said I'll set aside $200 worth of money, which gives me what, 8 months, and I can pay, and then I can stop and I can pay again. I was like, okay, I can deal with that. So that's what I did. So I'm trying to take the same approach with this. Okay, give you the ability to get all the information you can from me, but not draining your pockets, and then giving you something that can be affordable, that can help grow you. But then here's the other part of this. I'm also going to be tailoring it to make sure that I understand what you specifically need. A lot of the training out there, a lot of the information is here. This is it. You pay this amount, you get this. Okay, well, I need to know something else. And they don't add anything else specifically for you.
And a more customized
They don't,
approach
right. I'm
to
trying
it.
to do it more customized. Yes, I know on the notary basic side, and let's be real. If you just follow what I put out there in my notary basic playlist, you, in my opinion, will be set. But as I've said in the comments section to a couple of people that I've learned, and it was a young lady that I spoke to, she told me that she has some learning issues, that she has to do things a certain amount of time and over a certain type of way just for her to comprehend. Okay,
And
has nothing
retain
to
it.
do with the pattern. You know, some people are like very patterned, but she's like, I need to be able to do this a certain way. I said, okay, so now I'm working with people who have some learning concerns, or their ability to learn and
It's
comprehend
different.
can be different and can be a challenge to them. I'm like, okay,
So we
so
can't just do all of that over
on the,
YouTube, just, on live streams and things of that nature.
and these
That's when
same
you,
people have told me,
yeah.
and they've told me, they said, Griff, if you can, I'll be willing to pay you to work with me one on one to do this, and this is like 6 months ago, and the
Hi,
whole
Christina.
time, hey Christina, and what I've done is, again, I've taken everything that people said, prayed about it, talked to the wife about it, talked to some other business people about it, researched it to see what is the best value that I can provide, and what is the best way to do it so that that person can get help. See, I already know that a person can come in for the $3.99 and can get what they want in 1 month and never have to pay $3.99 again.
Mm-hmm.
But they want that time with me, and they're saying this is what we want to do. So I'm like, okay. And as crazy as it sounds, and I replied this to somebody earlier today. One of the things I've learned in life is that there are a segment of people who want their knowledge to be based off of the financial investment they put into it. It doesn't sound cool to everybody. You're like, what do you mean? What is all this free information? There's some people, they don't feel a certain way unless they've financially
Invested for you.
invested that money into the knowledge that they're getting. That's why there's some people who won't take courses off of Coursera and EDX. So EDX and Coursera
When
are
Udemy.
two, or Udemy, they won't pay. They won't even take a course for $10 off of Udemy because they don't think, because of the value, they don't think that it's worth anything. Or they will do Udemy because it's okay, well, I'm paying for it. And they feel that because of the money that I paid, it's worth something. And something that I recently learned listening to Eric Thomas, he was saying how there are some people, they're strictly not motivated unless they pay for something. In other words, they won't take advantage of the free stuff, but if they pay for it, that motivates them to do it, because they feel that because I've invested money into this, I'm going to do it because now I want to see a return on my investment.
Now, we'll say this. There are some people that just waste money. There are some people that will pay for, training, classes, college, technical training, things of that nature, and still won't follow through and, go into that industry, work in that industry, start that type of business, whatever. There are always going to be people that fall into that category too. They just waste money. It doesn't matter. But for the most part, when you have people that invest money into it, their mindset goes into, I paid for this, so I'm not going to waste
Hmm.
this. I'm not going to waste the money that I just, invested into this class, this course, this program, whatever. I'm going to, put my best foot forward, and I'm going to really move forward in this business. And that's really what it's all about, because he had to balance it. He had to balance um, everything that he was doing, having those classes and being out in the field, and actually still doing notary signings where, he's doing, 40, 50, 60 a month. At some months it got up to 70 or 80 that he was doing. Okay. And then he had to balance coming off of his regular government contract job and coming into being a full-time entrepreneur, where he is actually a business owner of two separate businesses, and then being a support system to me as I run my own business. And so all of these things are still happening and going on with Stephen Griffin. So, we also understand from the integrity side of things that we don't want to take advantage of people, because everything that we say and that we do, there we have to give an account for it on the other side of eternity.
Hmm.
So we're not trying to sit down here and take people's money, take advantage of people, treat people badly, treat people any kind of way, because we're going to have to give an account for that. And we're not, he's not trying to do anything that is, slick and shady, because the Father sees that.
Hmm.
The Father sees how you are treating people publicly and behind closed doors. So, you know, we also understood that when he decided to make, these changes with the channel, that there were going to be people that weren't going to like it, that were going to, come out and say the things that they are
You're just like them.
currently saying. And we get it. We get it. We understand it. We know that it's easy to lump everybody into one box, and because something that is being said or done sounds similar to what somebody else is saying or doing.
Yeah,
And
and see, I don't.
that's not always the case.
Right, and see, the thing is, after 10 months of being on here with y'all, being very transparent, I personally don't understand how anybody can lump me anywhere in the same category as these other individuals. Okay. I mean, if you can, hit me up. I mean, hey, we'll do a live together and articulate how I'm exactly like them. Even one person, said that, you know, um, I'm doing the same thing that they're doing, but just a different way. I am not doing the same thing as them. I didn't build this channel, which wasn't my intent, the same way that they built theirs. None of what I did was similar to them, because I started off sharing and giving stuff for free. And I will continue to do that. They ain't giving nothing for free. They started, if you compare it, me and them, my hand was like this, their hand was like that. I was saying, come over here, tell me what you need to know. Tell me what you need help with. How many of y'all can call them people? How many of them answering your phone calls? Hmm? They ain't answer your phone calls. They won't return your phone call. I mean, I got, see, y'all, what y'all don't understand, and this is to the critics and the semi-critics, because some of y'all say y'all so, just semi-critically, which y'all don't realize, because you're not getting the phone calls when somebody is in a signing and they're reaching out to their mentor, their notary trainer, whoever, and that person is not calling them back, or they're saying, well, I'll help you if you hit my cash app.
Yeah, this
And
is
this
what
person
people are
is in a
saying.
signing. This is a person is in a signing. See, y'all don't realize this stuff is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the foul stuff. So my thing is this: if you're gonna come at me for what I'm trying to do to help people, then you most definitely have every obligation to go at them. But see, because if you're closing your ears off to that stuff, if you're trying to I don't want to hear about that. Now, the other part of this here I want to also address. I know that our people, our Black African American
The
people, the
melanated
melanated
community.
people, we want to portray a particular image, and we don't like to hear this quote unquote negative stuff. But we talk a lot of negative stuff off to the side. And my thing is this: if you don't like the way that I've addressed or pointed out or dealt with certain things that are going on in the notary industry, then my goodness, you should really be on those people in Facebook groups for how they go and they demean and they demoralize and they put down young, innocent people, black, white, whoever, for asking a simple question. What do I do with this? No, you need training. What's wrong with you? I mean, this is the kind of stuff. And you ain't saying nothing to them. You ain't dealing them. You need to be pulling their coattail. You need to be on them.
And I agree with you, no matter what you do. And that's what really at this point, no matter what you do, there's always going to be people who are not going to be pleased, who are going to accuse you of whatever the case might be. And that's why I said, thank you for the feedback. And we're going to feed forward.
That's right.
We're going to feed forward. And, you know, it's at the point that, but also understand this, when you are going to make change, you have to let the people know that change is coming. That's a part of this. And that's what my husband was doing. He was trying to make sure that he was letting everybody know that this was going to be coming available. It would have been kind of crazy if you just would have, you know, oh, this is what's happening over here. And he had no explanation. So that's really all that he was doing, was letting people know.
And see, the other thing is, I've been monetized since July. And I said in the video, the reason why I monetized was because I was like, okay, my son is in the business. He's having a hard time getting signage just like y'all. So I said, okay, he's going to need his own equipment at some point. He's going to need certain things. So I said, well, okay, I'll monetize and see how this works out. But I've never asked anybody in any of the lives to do a super chat or any of that. Now, there was a gentleman, young guy out in Texas. He gave me two super chats, but that was on his own free will. You see what I'm saying? I'm not looking for that. That is not my point, because everybody else, as soon as they get monetized, what are they doing? They telling you, hit that super chat, hit that super chat, hit that super chat, hit that super chat. And they all popping it and they I mean, they are going in and they spend more time trying to get you to hit that super chat than actually putting out decent content. And if I'm giving you all kinds of super chat, then daggone it, your butt better be on the phone when I call. You best be on that phone when I call. See, that's good business. See, good business is that if you're sitting here asking people to invest in you, then daggone it, you better be there for them. And too many notaries out here, and I'm not talking about the notary trainers. This is not the notary trainers. Too many notaries that claim that they're mentors, claim that they're instructors. And I'm not talking about the notary institution. She's solid. LaShawn Jenkins, 100% solid. So do not go talking about I'm saying about her. I am not, period. Okay? Well, then me and her gonna get you. But LaShawn is cool. But there are others out here. And what y'all don't realize, there's a whole slew of people out here. A whole slew of people who are really under the radar, who will never come on YouTube, but they are out there praying and looking for notaries to snatch up. They're looking for them, and they're sitting in Facebook and on Clubhouse. And if the moment you say, I'm struggling, oh, hey, I can help you. Yes. And then they're taking all your money. And I done got so many phone calls from ladies that have been, Griff, what's wrong with people? I'm like, what do you mean? I was working with this lady. She gave me some work. And then all of a sudden she's like, don't call me no more. Just drop me. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I got one lady told me that she was working with a guy, did a signing for him, and he won't even pay her the money that he owed her. He just dropped her. I mean, you got people out here who are notaries, probably about as experienced as I am or more. They got connections with title companies. The title company saying, hey, we'll send you this work. We'll pay you $200, and then you can get whatever notary you want to do it. And they go get you, the brand new notary, and say, I'm going to give you $60. So This is a direct client now, not a signing. That person is not an official signing company, and they're giving the notary this order. The notary goes and does the order, does it right, and all of that, but they won't pay them. And after they get them to do a couple of orders, then they like, okay, I don't want to deal with you no more, and still ain't paying them.
And this basically they're subcontracting out the notary work, and then but the notary is never getting paid. All of these different scenarios are going on. This has never been about money. This has never been about money. This is, if you really understand all of the stuff that's going on in the notary industry, and I know it's kind of mind blowing because it's like, wow, all we're really supposed to be doing is stamping papers and signing and making sure that a person, you check that person's identification to notify and to verify that they are who they say they are. Okay. But there's all of these other things that are happening out here in the community. And so, like I said, my husband didn't know that any of this was going on.
Because I wasn't on Facebook.
Yeah,
he
was on the
YouTube.
Yeah, when you started, several years prior to being on YouTube. Yeah. And that's the thing. He was just going along, doing notary signings, promoting himself as a nighttime notary. He was only doing them at night and some on weekends, but mostly at night from about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoons to like 8, 9, sometimes 10 o'clock at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Now, to answer your question, Miss Hamida, how do you protect yourself? I know, and this isn't to you, but I've said this multiple times, and y'all won't do this. You're doing it to me, but you won't do this to them other folk. And I'm saying it that way, and I mean what I just said. Not all of y'all doing it, but some people are doing it to me. You got to challenge the content and the information people are putting out. If somebody is telling you, oh, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Here's the deal. This is one of the things I've learned, and I'm telling you this because this is what I taught my sons. When my sons graduated out of high school, I sat them down in our room over and I talked with them together and individually. And I told both of them this. I said, the moment you turn 18, you're an adult and you have every right to question and to a certain degree challenge other adults based off of what they share with you. I said, you can question me and challenge me, do it respectfully. If you think that something I'm saying or asking you to do is not clear or unfair, you have that right with other people. Sometimes you might have to wait a little while, but you have that right. You may not execute that right, but you have the right to do that. That's what I told both of my sons. I'm telling y'all this. You have that right. If somebody is telling you the infamous, you don't need to take any orders under under $100, you're hurting the notary industry. Show me receipts. I keep saying that, but are you questioning them? Are you challenging them? Most people are not, because you don't want to get kicked out of that Facebook group. You don't want to get banned from that Clubhouse group because you think that you're going to find some kind of little special nugget that is going to give you an edge over everybody. And even people now have been calling me thinking that, okay, well, if I call and talk to Griff, he's going to tell me something that's not in his videos. I'm not doing that. Now, there are things that on the other side with them that I'm going to be teaching. With the notary thing, is more so helping people comprehend and understand and giving them that one-on-one attention that I now understand that they need. Okay. I understand now that some people need that one-on-one help. The business mindset part is strictly helping you to understand how to be a good, solid business owner and understand certain business principles that I personally believe that are not being taught from the notorious thing, because they're saying, I'm gonna teach you how to run a notary business. I'm gonna teach you how to go market yourself and how to get clients. But there's certain foundational things that you need to understand as a business owner. And I know that most people aren't going to stay in this business long term. So therefore, you're moving into other business realms. And I want to provide you with information and support to help you go in that direction. Plus, there's a lot of couples that are trying to do business together and they do not know how to work together. So therefore, I want to provide content and information in support of that.
And see, a lot of the things that he's talking about that he wants to do, with the membership is basically out of the questions that we have seen or he has seen in the comment section, and also in the live streams, in the live chats. People, he'll be talking about something totally different, and he'll get a question about LLCs, or he'll get a question about taxes, or he'll get a question about um, the type of liability insurance, E&O insurance, things of that nature. So um, that's the thing. It is um, sometimes you want to be able to have a um, a time frame or a video or a live stream where you are talking about a particular topic, and that everybody that's in that video or live stream or live chat understands that the questions that are going to be asked and answered, hopefully, are need to be surrounded around this particular topic. When you're on just YouTube and what have you, you have all of these different, questions that are being asked in live streams, because we know that a lot of times people approach every single live stream the same way. They feel like live streams are supposed to be random. Live streams are supposed to be, I can ask questions on any topic. I don't care if you're talking about yellow buttons. I want to talk about the blue sky. And, and that's how they approach every live stream, and even in their questions. But when you go and you go on the membership side, and there's boundaries that you can set, within the membership side of things, and you can deal with certain content areas, certain type of information that you want to present in a more streamlined way. You can do it on the membership side than you can over here on the free side. Because on the free side, you hear people all the time want to do a video on this, want to do a video on that, want to do a video on this, want to do a video on that. And I get that on my channel all the time. I get that on my channel all the time. People, asking for all of these different things. So you can. Somebody said, can you take advantage of both? Yes, you can. You can take it. You can take advantage of all of the information on the
if you're
free.
a business mindset, everything in Notary Basics is available to the business mindset people.
Yeah, and you can take advantage of both. And like I was saying earlier, the way that YouTube has things set up, you can be in there 1 month, and the next month you can say, hey, I don't have the money for this month. I'm gonna pull out this month and jump back in the next month.
And see, there's going to be, the way this is set up, people who are part of the Notary Basics, they're going to get information. And a lot of that information is going to be available to the business mindset people, because they're also doing notary stuff. So it's going to be available to them also. There will be things that, okay, there might not need to be the notary basic information. The business mindset people may not need to know, because it's really, really something specific. Okay. So there might be and there will be notary basic only content or live streams where I talk to them about certain things. Okay. That, and especially once I know, okay, well, I already know the business mindset people, and you got that part down. So there's no need to be redundant and give you information that you already got solid. A lot of the notary basic people probably aren't ready to even start looking at doing the LLC business part of it. They just trying to get solid in being a notary and just making sure that part is right. So to give you that opportunity to get that part solid in your life. And again, only because I've taken time out and talked to people, and I've heard the pain. And I mean, the pain and the concern that people have is like, they're really like, okay, I see what you're saying and I get it, but I'm learning. And again, by me listening to other motivational speakers and listening to other people who I look up to, I'm learning from them how they had to craft and change their business model and their things so that they could meet people where they're at and everything. Okay. So we're about to bounce because we got to take her because she has an appointment at 4 o'clock.
I have a meeting.
But the whole
with my
bottom
business.
line,
I gotta mind my business.
the whole thing is simply this. I get it. And I know people are like, I was waiting to see if you were going to be like them. I honestly don't believe that you can legitimately compare me to them. I really don't think so. I just don't. There's just no similarity, because if I was just like them, I would not have as many subscribers as I have. The lives of people would not have been changed like they have, because there's a lot of people out there. They ain't nothing changed with them. They ain't nothing changed with them, because if I was like them, your pockets would be a whole lot drier than what it is, because you would have been paying them and you would have been paying me a pretty doggone penny. Okay. You wouldn't have been able to just call me anytime. I've gotten phone calls 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Hey, what's going on? What do you need? 9 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. What do you need? You need me to help you out with a doc? Come on, let's hop on Zoom and do a document review. I've done that, and it costs nobody nothing. So you cannot say that I'm anything like them at all. Okay, as we say down south, not at all, but at all. Not at all. She don't like me saying that kind of stuff. But
Oh, you can say it. It just doesn't necessarily mean that it's true.
yeah. So
ay, ay, ay.
in both of these here, if one-on-one for notary basics and the business mindset, if one-on-one is needed, we will find a way to make it happen. We will find a way to make it happen. Okay.
You see
Because
what he said in the business mindset subscription, or is
one on
one included or provided
no,
in
our
a different?
one-on-ones.
Oh,
Our
okay.
one-on-ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Our one-on-ones included or provided as a different. Nah. If I need to do small groups, one-on-ones, and see, this again, just understanding people, hearing what people are saying, understanding where the need is, because new notaries have not figured out where your need is at. Okay, you go ahead and get ready. New notaries haven't figured out where your need is at. They just want, all they know is they need your money. They haven't figured out what your need is. I'm trying to figure out what your need is so that I can put something together to provide that. So yes, if I need to do a one-on-one, then okay, cool, okay, because I think it'll be more pointed. Some of the one-on-ones that I have done have just sort of all over the place and everything. So what I'm trying to do is find a way, to the best of my ability, to be able to help people, to meet their need, to give them the sense of, I don't want to say accomplishment or whatever it is they need. They told me that they need for me spending my time with them. And that's what I'm going to do. So not everybody needs to join. Not everybody's going to join. Not everybody's going to stay a monthly member and all of that. And just so y'all know, I'm also putting together I'm waiting for the guy to finish, and I hope everything is perfect. Some badges, because you'll see people got the little green badge, like Shannon B. She has a little special badge by her name and all of that. Well, I'm getting some party people badges to denote people who are members and how long they've been a member of the group, of the membership. And I got the guy making me a Fritter Friday emoji, so we can throw that out on Fritter Fridays and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to find a way to meet people after, again, spending 10 months of talking with everybody, almost 10,000 subscribers. It makes good business sense to find a way to accommodate the people where they're at an affordable price for them. Okay. And an affordable price for them. Because here's the thing. If the YouTube channel went away today, I'm still going to make the money that I need to make for my family. So that's what I've established, that I'm not living off of the YouTube money. They are, I'm not. It's just that simple. So they need the money from YouTube. I don't. Okay. I will do what I got to do to make money happen. And I don't want to depend strictly on YouTube money to pay my bills, because it is dependent upon you coming here, you liking, you viewing. And at any point in time, you could get disgusted with me. You could get upset with me and say, bump Griff, I'm gone. and I'm not at that point. Other people are, for as needing YouTube for that, not me. So that's why I came on. I already knew this was going to have to be done, and everything. If anybody got something that they feel they need to discuss with me, or they don't like something I've done or said, feel free to come talk to me one on one. But if you feel free to throw it in the comment section, there's a chance I'm going to reply and I'm going to say something back. I'm gonna be as respectful as I can. And also, if you don't give context as to what you say, I have to take it for what it is. So if I misconstrue a comment that you may say, um, maybe you need to add more context to it so that I can understand. As I was talking with one person who said that they was predicting that I was going to take down all of my content and stuff. I'm like, okay, if you put a comment out there talking about what you predict that I'm going to do, I'm like, you don't know me like that to say that you're predicting, and I take that as you're telling me I know you're going to do this. That's how I take it. Now you may not have meant it that way, but that's the way I took it. And if you can help me understand why I shouldn't have taken it that way, then I can be like, okay, cool, my bad. But you got to be mindful, just as I have to be, of how we say things and all of that. And y'all know I've done many videos where I've came back and clarified and apologized for something that I said because I didn't say it correctly or whatever. It gave the wrong impression or whatever the case may be. So I understand people probably unsubscribe. I knew he was like this, that. Got it. You do you, I'm gonna do me, because one of the things I've learned, grown people are the hardest people to get to change into something more positive than what they're currently doing that may be negative. It's hard to get grown people to change and move forward because we're stubborn. We want to stay on our thing. And I can be the same way too. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. Me and the wife gonna bounce, and then I gotta come back in and knock out some other stuff and everything.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, really do appreciate all of y'all and everything. And like I said, if you got questions, you need a better understanding of what I'm doing, ask. And you have every right to ask questions. You have every right to suggest topics that you may want to learn in these two different membership groups, and still the same thing on here. And I will do everything that I can to help y'all out. All right. Peace. It didn't work out the way I thought. I was supposed to say peace and then the end. Okay. Peace.